So I'm excited to show you some new threads today that we have in the shop. I'm going to show you what they are and how to use them, and do keep watching because one lucky viewer is going to win a box of these threads. And I've also got some free designs to give you as well today, so that's all coming up, so do keep watching. Hi everyone, Sarah here from Sarah Homfray Embroidery. Welcome back to my channel and another video, and just want to say a quick thank you again to all of those of you who have clicked the super thanks button last week. Thank you very much for your support. So thank you to Kay, Jackie, Joe, Ms. Ez, Gail and Barbara for your support. It's very much appreciated. So I've been excited to show you these threads. They've been in the studio for a while and I've been getting them up on the shop, so this is new to our shop. I'm excited to show you them, so let's have a look at what we've got. This is a new range of threads to our shop, and these come from Anchor, and they are linen embroidery threads, so they are 100% linen. I'm just going to show you the colours now because they come in really beautiful colours. So we've got 36 different colours. They're all dyed using vegetable based dyes, and the threads are 100% linen, as I said, and each card comes with 15 meters of thread on it, and there are 6 strands that you can ply down, so you've got lots of versatility with how you use this thread. They're washable on a delicate cycle up to 40 degrees, and you can't tumble dry it, but you can iron it, and it is dry cleanable as well, so if you want to embroider on some clothing you can. So they all come individually. You can buy just the cards of the individual colours. You've seen those on the screen there, but they also come in these beautiful box sets here. Try and hold all 3 up together. So there's 3 sets and 3 different colour themes, and if you buy all 3 boxes you get the whole 36 colours, so the colours don't repeat throughout the box set. So we've got shoreline, we have got mountain, and we have got meadow as well, so they can come in boxes like that. And the other thing that you get in the box is you get a free cross stitch design, is folded up and it's in there ready for you to stitch. So free design, different design with each set of threads. So we're going to have a look at the threads, and I'm going to show you the best way to use them and what they look like and how you can work with them. And I'm going to do that on a little design that I have made. So I've done a little seaside design here. So this design is going to be free for everybody. We will put it on the FreeStuff page on the website. I'll put a link to that in the description below this video. You can all just go and click that and download this and have a go at this design. And then for our channel members and our patrons who give us that little bit of extra support, I've got a little bit of a bigger design for you. So I've got a larger design based on the same theme, and this one is for you. And I've also put in little stitch plan, suggested stitch plan of some ideas of how you might want to stitch that, so you can get that on there. If you're not a channel member or a patron, there are details on how you can join to get your hands on this design. They are in the description below the video. So these threads come in lots of beautiful colours, as we've already seen, and they come on these single skeins like so. And I am going to show you what these threads look like now, and I'm just going to pick this colour here. So this is colour 14, which is, if I look on my little list, is hazelnut. They come in really lovely names. Hazelnut and powder and beautiful things like that. So this is the hazelnut one, and if I just ply it at the end here, you can see what it looks like. So this linen thread goes really fine. If you want to do something beautiful and delicate, this is a really great thread for that because it goes super fine. So you can use all 6 strands if you want to, or you can just ply it down into the 6 like so. And this linen thread is different from cotton. So cotton, your cotton thread, your cotton floss is mercerized, and that puts it through a process that makes the thread nice and shiny, and it makes it a little bit stronger. This linen is all natural fibre. It hasn't had any processes like that done to it, so it's got very much a natural feel of linen. So you may find a few slubs in it, you may have a little bit of lint, so the little bit of fibres that come off on it. So it's definitely worth just practicing a little bit with this thread first before you jump into a project. So as I mentioned, these threads are really great for an heirloom project because of these properties that I've just told you about. Linen is one of the oldest threads known to have been made by mankind, and so you will really get that beautiful traditional look, and you'll get that nice kind of slightly rustic sort of look with it, and it's nice and strong fibre as well, so it will last a long time. So great if you want to make an heirloom piece. So I've just shown you the different plies there and how easily that comes apart and how fine you can get this thread. So just a couple of other things to know about it. It doesn't feel like the cotton, as I mentioned, so I suggest using a slightly bigger needle than you would normally because it's not quite as smooth as the cotton because it hasn't had that mercerized process. So I would go up a needle size, as in a larger needle for this. I'm going to use some crewel 7s and 5s for mine, and nice short lengths on it. Don't do great big long arm lengths for it because you will find you might get one of those slubs and you might get a little bit fibrous. So larger needle and nice short length of thread. So this is a little design that I have made for you that's free on that FreeStuff page there for you to download. And I have obviously done quite a little bit of it because I'm not going to do it all on camera because I'll be here forever. But I just want to talk through what I have done briefly. So I put the design onto the fabric. Now I'm using a linen fabric for this. This is held in a versatile table clamp. If anybody's seen these and think, oh wow, they're amazing. These are versatile table clamps. And I'm doing it on a linen fabric because it's a linen thread. It's often nice to use the same fabric as the thread just to keep that consistency and the texture going. So it's actually linen and cotton blend, this one, because it's got a slightly finer grain on it because this is a slightly finer thread to it. And I've transferred my design onto that from the free design there, and I've actually coloured this in with some pencils. Now a lot of this stitching is going to be quite open, and I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of colour in the background, and you can see that process here. You can see it before I've done any stitching on it here. And I've just got some, they're actually water-based pencils, but I haven't used any water on it, just colouring pencils, lightly given some of these shapes, some of the colours that I'm going to use, and that just sort of makes another dimension to it. You don't have to do that stage at all if you don't want to, but we have been looking at backgrounds recently and how you can do something different. So if you are interested in that, then you could do that stage as well. So I'm going to go through the stitches that I have done on this piece for you, but I'm going to do that at the end when it's finished so you can see everything all together. But I just want to do a little bit of stitching on here and show you how to use the thread. So I'm going to use this colour here right in the middle of this shell. So this is 33, this is slate, this colour. And just as I said, a very short length here. And if I just show you under this camera, you can sort of, there's a slub there, you can just see that. So I'm going to avoid that, so I'm going to make sure I cut it before I get to that slub there. So a nice short thread length. It's not even quite to my elbow this time. It will benefit you later. If you're one of those people think, I don't want to keep threading my needle, nice short lengths that help you a lot more with that. And we're going to use 2 strands. I'm just going to strand it the same way I would of the normal stranded cotton, just separate the ends. They come apart quite easily, and then just pull one out from the end and pull another one out, and that means they don't get all knotted up like so. So as I said, a slightly larger needle for this thread than you would normally use. I'd probably normally put that in a size 9. I'm going to go up to a crewel number 7 needle, and that just means the hole in the fabric is a little bit larger for the linen thread to pass through, and it doesn't wear the linen on the way through. Just worth mentioning at this point, if you want to try it and you've got some, you could run it through some beeswax if you find the little fibres are coming off. It will change the texture and the colour of the thread slightly, but again, just something to practice if you want to, see what suits you best. I'm going to do it without. And I'm just going to put some little stitches in here. I'm going to put my knot out at the side here. That will get cut off later. Just do a tiny starting stitch, and then I'm going to stitch over that. So I'm just going to do an eyelet stitch for this area. I've got 2 strands in the needle. I've got a nice bigger needle. It doesn't sound awful. If you can hear that going through the fabric, then change your needle up, make your needle a little bit bigger, because that we're wearing the linen, but actually it stitches really beautifully if you get that right size needle. Just don't expect it to be like anything else you've stitched with, because it is different. It does have a different feel to it. So just done a few of those there. That's all the same piece of thread, so you can get a decent amount of stitches out of it. I'm just going to bring that up to the side over here, and I'll pull that back and finish it on the back later. Still want to finish my threads nice and securely, but that's easier to do because I can't turn the frame over at the moment. So let's do another one, and let's change the number of strands that we use. I'm going to use this lighter blue now. Short, short, short. Tend to find the longer you stitch, the longer the thread gets. So let's try this. This is a single strand now. I'm going to try it in the number 9 needle and see how that feels. If it doesn't feel right, I can always change it up. And we're going to put some more eyelets around those ones in between. So you've got lots of versatility with a thread that you can ply down. You don't have to use all the strands in it. You can use as many as you want. I'm doing this quite fine. I was interested to see how fine this linen will stitch, and it is finer than the stranded cotton when you get down to the one strand. So if you want something really nice and delicate, this is really lovely for that. That's stitching fine. One strand in a number 9 embroidery needle is stitching really nicely. I can't hear that, which is always good. You know the needle is making the hole and not the thread. So I'm going to put a few more of those in, just going to go randomly around and decorate this shell. Okay, so we tried 1 strand and 2 strands. That stitches really nicely in that. So let's go up now to 4 strands and try a different stitch. So some stitches will wear the thread more than others, depending on how many times you go through the fabric and around the needle. So we're going to try some of the lovely French knots that I know you all love. If you hate French knots and you can't do them, do check out our Ultimate Guide to French Knots video, and hopefully you will love them after that. And I just want to show you this thread here. You can see that little slub in the middle, and with this, if you just run your fingers along that thread, it will get rid of some of the lint off it. You might feel there's a little bit of lint on it, so you might want to do that occasionally. I'm just going to be aware of that. I'm going to try some French knots in it and be aware of that slub, but we might have a problem there. But let's just try it and see what happens. I'm going to go up my needle size. I'm now going up to a 5 crawl needle for this, because we've got more threads in here. So let's put a few knots in amongst these stitches here. So it's just over and under, just going to wrap once. And because we're doing all this around the needle and now we're going through that fairly tight knot there, it will wear that thread. So I'm just going to pull it down slowly and listen for it. You can hear it a little bit tugging a little bit, but that's gone through okay. So just be nice and gentle with it. It's good just for relaxing into it. Don't do it if you're stressed. Be nice and relaxed and your materials will work for you. So just nice and slowly. That's gone through fine. So I might find it wears a little bit quicker because of that slub. And if you just have a shorter tail on it, that will wear it a little bit less as well. Yeah, that's going through fine. I'm happy with that. So it does feel different, as I said, so you just need to get used to it. Just try a little bit on a sampler. I've got a good video on sampling if you want to know what I'm talking about and why you should be doing it. Checking out your threads and your ideas before you commit yourself to an actual design. So let's put another one of those in. I'm happy with those. So that's 4 strands in a number 5 needle, so they've gone in really nicely. So let's try another stitch. So a really good test of a thread and how it works and getting used to how it feels is a bullion knot. So I'm going to try one of those in this thread. I've got 3 strands now, gone back down to 3 strands, and I've also gone down a needle size to number 7. I'm not sure if this will be big enough, but we'll do one and we'll try it out. So there's lots going on in a bullion knot. It's going through the fabric lots of times. There's lots of wraps around it. So it's a really good test of a thread and what a thread will do and what it feels like. Again, we have a video on bullion knots, so I'm not going to go through how I do it at this stage. Do go and check out our stitch library for that. I just want to show you this thread in a bullion knot. That's come through there really nicely. And even though a linen thread is quite textured and quite rustic, it does actually stitch really beautifully. It's just knowing those few little details about needle sizes and thread lengths just to make it easier, and I can just fiddle with that and tighten that knot up a little bit, and that's worked really nicely. And if you're doing bullion knots, do a couple of stitches between each one. So I'm going to do another one in the middle here, and that will just hold the thread. So if for any reason this thread did wear a little bit too much or make a mess of my bullion knot, I'm going to take all my bullion knots out. I can just take the last one because that's got some finishing stitches, so that's just a useful little tip there for you. So let's try another one. There's a little bit of a slub in the middle, but I think we'll be okay. So to try a second one with the same thread. Wiggle it through and just listen to what your thread's telling you. It will tell you that slub's just gone through there fine. So it is quite a strong thread without that any processes to make it stronger like the cotton's had. So I can fiddle with that quite a lot and that thread is fine. So it's just getting used to the different feel of a thread. Right, I'm going to try one more stitch I think, and then we will have a look at the giveaway and see what I have got for you to win. So I can't do a sea theme piece without doing a coral stitch really, and this is a good one again just to try out the thread and see what the thread will do, because there's a lot going on this thread. So I'm going to use this colour here. So this is a number 7, it's kind of a grey colour. I'm just going to do one of these strands of seaweed stuff. I don't know what it's called. So this has a knot in it over the thread. So I've just made a little twist and I'm coming up through. Now there's a big loop of thread there and my needle's underneath. If I just pull that, I will wear the thread. So what I need to do is to pull that through from the back around the needle like so, and then pull the needle up. And that will do the least amount of wear on the thread. So it's worth knowing how to do your stitches differently depending on what thread you're using. So I'm pulling the thread down and then I'm pulling the thread through, much less wear on that thread. It's a nice little stitch. It just gives these little lines of stitching with these little knots along them. So a really nice one to do. So I'm just going to go up there with that one. It's going in quite nicely. I've got 2 strands of linen in the number 7 needle for this. So the 7s and the 5s are working pretty well. I went down to a 9 for just 1 strand. So I know I'm happy with my needles and I've got my needle sizes sorted. So I'm going to get to the end of this one and then I'll show you what that looks like. So there's my finished coral stitch up there, looking really beautiful. That was about the right length of thread. It's starting to wear at the end there. So I'm going to go through this and just tidy it up, get rid of these knots, finish these ends off on the back, do a couple more stitches in here. I've got a few more little details I'm going to add to show you, and I'll show you the whole thing at the end and go through that. But let's do the giveaway draw. So one lucky viewer of our video is going to get their hands on this lovely set of threads here. This is the shoreline set of threads. This is the colour that I have been using in my design. The colour set has got that free pattern in there as well. So to get your hands on this set of threads, all you need to do is to write in the comments below this video and include the word shoreline in your comment. I'll put it here on the screen. You need to spell it exactly like this. So type the word shoreline anywhere in a comment below the video. So today's date is Friday the 9th of June 2023. We'll give you 1 week to enter. So we will do the draw on the 16th of June, Friday the 16th of June 2023. So if you are our lucky winner, we will respond to the comment that you left below the video. We will also put it on the community page of the YouTube channel and on my social media, on my Instagram and my Facebook. So do check those out to see if you are the lucky winner. We will post to you wherever you are in the world. So this is open to everybody. But if you do not respond by the beginning of July, we will need to draw again for another winner. So do make sure you check out those messages, and good luck everybody. So let's have a little look around the finished piece and see what I've done, because I've added a few extra bits onto it. So I'll just go over some of the stitches that I've used. The colours are all from the Shoreline pack. They are on the website if you want to see what colours of those are. They're in the description below the box on the website there. So let's have a little look at the stitches. So you see me do the coral stitch. That's this one here, just in different colours and different numbers of threads. So this is just one strand up here just to make some different variation in the texture there. The little fish has just got a back stitch around him, a little bit of long and short in the top here to give him some shading, just some straight stitches in his tail and his fins, a little bit of fly stitch here for his scales. Let's move down here. Some of them are very simple. You don't need a lot of stitches to make something look really nice. And I've got that little bit of colour as well from my pencils, don't forget. So just a bit of back stitch around here and different colours. So I've done a lighter colour on top and a darker colour underneath. That just gives the shell a little bit of a shape. So very subtle changes and you can do a lot with it. So it's really really nice to do that, to use 2 different colours there. These long shells here, these are a whipped back stitch, so back stitch and you whip a thread around it. That just gives you a little bit more of a solid edge, so it's a pale colour, but just to bring the texture out I've just whipped around it. That brings the stitch out a little bit. Some detail in just some simple running stitch, but again change of colours throughout here just to make the shape of the shell. This one here has got some couching in it, so it's got a back stitch around it, and then I've just put some long stitches in here just to shade these beautiful colours on this shell, and just couched over that stitch. So come up here, down here, little few stitches over the top to hold it in place, and some back stitch here to make the shape, so 2 stitches going on in there, but lots of changes of colours just to make that shell look like that. Lots of texture on it. And let's just jump to the seaweed, and then we'll come back to the main shell here. I just coloured this in very light blue with a little bit of darker blue in the middle here with the pencil, and then it's just a back stitch around the edge and some running stitch again in 2 colours. Just gives the sort of shape of that seaweed. Very, very simple stitching, but it looks really beautiful. You don't need lots of experience and lots of different stitches to do something really beautifully. And then this shell in the middle here that we have been working on, so I put my eyelets in the middle here. It's got a stem stitch all the way around the edge, gives you a slightly more raised edge than a back stitch does. I've got my bullion knots, I should say, in here. They came out quite nicely, and I've got the eyelet stitch in a single strand here in a different colour. Again, that gives it more weight, and you will have noticed by now I've put some beads on it, so I raided my bead stash, and I've actually got some real shells on it as well. Found some little bits on the beach, and I've added in a few sort of stones, a couple of pearls. These are actual pearls in there, and some little beads, just to again bring some texture out. You can add things into your work. They look really nice in lots of different kinds of materials. So I hope you've enjoyed that little look at my seashore project, and are excited by these threads. You can get them from the shop now. They are available now to buy, the whole range and the boxes too. The other materials I have used are also available: the linen fabric, the backing, the versatile table clamps, the needles. That's all on the shop as well if you want to have a go at this project. And don't forget the downloads as well for you. The description, the link for those is in the description below this video. You can go and download that for free. Channel members and patrons, your design will be up on your platforms too. Good luck with the competition, everybody. If you've enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up. There's another one up here that I think you might enjoy as well, and I will see you next time.